what do you do when the things that you've been doing to build your business suddenly don't work anymore? Well, we can look at lots of businesses that have gone the way of the dodo because they've not been able to adapt. Woolworths, Toys R Us, Blockbuster Video. We can see all of these, and we can probably name a million more. And we can see now businesses that are really struggling to find their feet in a rapidly changing marketplace. And that's not just retail businesses. B2B businesses are struggling as well with Brexit and all this stuff, uncertainty. It can feel like, where do we go? What do we do? A lot of people, what they do in that process and in that environment, where they feel that things are just not working the way they are, they just work harder. And there is something to be said for hard work, isn't there? You know, putting the effort in, working twice as hard to achieve a result. There's something to be said for that. But sometimes the effort doesn't pay off. Sometimes it does, and if it does, great, but sometimes it doesn't pay off. And you sit there at the end of it and go, I've wasted a lot of money. I've wasted a huge amount of money and got nothing for it. And you feel this kind of inner resentment, don't you, of like, you're angry at yourself, but it kind of bubbles over into everything you do. What I want to share with you is don't get attached to ideas, get attached to outcomes. And very, very often in whatever business world you're working in, you can get really attached to the methodology, the way you're going to achieve an outcome, rather than the outcome itself. You know, if you want to grow your business by, I don't know, 15% this year or whatever the number is, you will have to do something over and above what you've done already to get to where you are. Now, you could say, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the activity that I've done. What I would suggest to you is, can you find a way, or you can find a way, because I know this is possible, you can find a way to do things to increase in a smarter way. So not just more effort, but more intelligence behind what you're doing. More strategy behind what you're doing. So that you know, if you double your effort, you won't just get double the results. And that is a principle of what I talk about selling at scale. And selling at scale is essentially, it's not about sales actually, selling at scale. It's about marketing. It's about how you're promoting your business, how your presence of your business is in place, how you're perceived in the marketplace, how you're keeping ahead of your competition. And all of these things come together to make it easier to sell at scale. An example of this is if a business makes £200,000 for a salesman, that salesman's generating his own leads, doing his own work, ringing people, following up people, finding leads, doing all that stuff. So if you want to grow your business, the logic is to add another salesman. Not necessarily. What you can do is make the salesman's job easier. Take all the hard work away from him. You know, the getting leads, getting interest, building trust, all those kind of things. And give that to the marketing department. And the marketing department's job is to build trust, build interest, create demand. And then the salesman's job is to follow that up, engage with the inquiries that come through, and close those sales. And that's what selling at scale is. It's using the resources that you have more efficiently to get better results. And that's selling at scale. So if you're a $1 million turnover business, the first $1 million is really, really hard. But then the second $1 million and third $1 million requires a different approach than what you did in the first $1 million. You can't run around like a crazy person building your business when you're 1.5 million, 2 million. You have to think about things and do things where it brings business to you. So that's what selling at scale is. So really, really think about how you adapt to a changing market. How are you going to adapt? If your competitor comes out tomorrow and brings out a massive innovation, are you prepared for that prepared and ready to adapt? Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, tongue-tied. Are you prepared to adapt? Are you ready to adapt? Do you know why people choose you over your competitor? Because if you don't know that answer, Yeah, and it's just down to price. You may end up being one of those dinosaurs that goes the way of the dodo. Dinosaurs that goes the way of the dodo? Mixed metaphors. And then you need to think about, how am I going to do this more efficiently? How am I going to sell at scale quicker, faster and cheaper? How do I use the same amount of energy and resource to get a better result? And when you come up with those answers, you can really think sharp and think smart about how you're going to build your business for the next million and the next million and the next million. So that's enough from me. If you'd like to know more about some of the things I share, drop me a line or go to my Calendly link, which is in my profile, and we can set up a time to chat.